So are you completely raw?
Yeah, I've been raw for about 5 years now.
Okay.
It's been
No
a
wonder
while.
you, no wonder you have such great skin.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely um, something that has improved. Everything in my life has improved since going raw. Like
Yeah, your
mental,
energy levels.
yeah, everything. Like mentally, physically, spiritually. Like it's basically been one of the biggest blessings in my life, I think,
Oh
thus
yeah.
far.
Your hair
Yeah.
looks really spectacular. So your hair is in very good health.
Yeah, my hair's doing good. It's been
So do you
um
cut the ends like once a season, or how often do you cut the ends?
yeah, I well, I kind of made the mistake of not cutting my ends for a long time, and then
Yeah.
my hair just wasn't growing, and I was realizing that it was just breaking and breaking and breaking. It was because I had so many split ends. So I cut it recently, and I made the effort to trim it every couple months now. So
Yeah, have you
hopefully,
looked at our video on how to cut your own hair?
no, I haven't. That would be really useful because
Yeah,
I
with
start.
your length of hair, it's so
Yeah.
easy because all you have to
Yeah.
do is wet it and pull it forward. And
Okay.
then and
Cool.
then you're using our lunar date, so you can cut it like there's
Yeah.
5 different things a month to cut for cutting dates.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
then if you
nice.
cut it like once a season, that's
Mhm.
minimum. You have to cut it at least once every season.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, no,
like you
that makes
said, if you don't cut it, the ends split because it's like naturally, if like this is one hair, what happens is it just separates at the
yeah.
ends,
Yeah.
then it starts splitting up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also wasn't I do a lot of hot yoga and in summer I tend to sit out in the sun a lot and my hair like the ends just got so fried from all that heat and I wasn't
Mm.
protecting it. So now I just coat my ends in coconut oil before I
Yes.
go do hot yoga and before I go outside in the sun, which will be this summer.
You
Experiment
can
with
use
that.
our elixir oils. Have you tried our elixir oils?
Oh no, I didn't know you guys had those. Are those
They're
are
really
probably beneficial.
high-end conditioning
Yeah.
oils.
Okay,
So the
cool.
God and Goddess series would be the best for your hair.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to try out because um, I do not want my hair to split anymore. That was detrimental. My hair used to be so long. I mean, it's growing now, but yeah, it was very long.
Oh, just if you cut off the ends, like even like once every 2 months, you cut it off like maybe even an eighth or
Yeah,
quarter of an inch.
yeah,
It just seals the ends, and that you can grow it as long as you like, all the way past your, down to your ankles if you want.
yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna do that. Thanks for letting me know.
Hmm. Do you watch our lunar cycle dates on cutting?
I think I remember reading about it.
Because all you have to do is just look at our calendar and then write the dates down in your calendar of what dates to cut for
Um,
2015.
okay, and it'll just remind me to do it. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
just put it,
Okay.
just put it in your calendar, and then it'll
Yeah.
just pop up and it'll remind you. But you can grow twice the
Yeah.
length and twice the thickness by cutting it by the moon.
Oh, really?
Oh
Is
yeah,
it to do with like the? Because like I know all about like the way that the moon affects our energy.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
it's astrology. It affects everything. We've just become too modern, and we stopped using the lunar cycles, but
Yeah.
it
No,
just
I
it's not convenient any longer. But if
yeah.
you look for thousands of years, everyone's been cutting their hair with the lunar cycle.
Really, that's super interesting. That is really awesome because like I track the lunar cycle based on my moods and how much work I get done.
Hmm.
But I didn't really think of it applying it to my hair or um, I guess also menstrual cycles for women. That's really important, but I don't think I've never really correlated it to my hair, so that is something I'm really interested in for sure.
But it's like what I teach is the 5 elements. So we have 5 fingers,
Yeah.
5 toes, five
Yeah.
senses,
Hmm.
and there's 5 types of hair on the body.
Yeah.
So the
Oh,
hair
cool.
on the head is the crown
Yeah.
chakra, and that's like the number one. But there's four other types, and so there's five different elements to cut your hair per month. You can
Yeah.
do lengthening, strengthening, thickening, root work, or beautifying.
Yeah.
So our calendar, educates people on if you want to grow longer hair, there's exact dates per month to cut,
Yeah.
and it's equivalent to 12 to 18 acupuncture treatments.
Huh.
So
That
one
is really
lunar hair cutting treatment is like 12 to 18 acupuncture treatments, and that's sort of like what happens with Samson and Delilah. And when you look at all the Rapunzel and all the fairy tales, and you look at the biblical stories about hair, is that's how powerful hair really is, and people have forgotten. Like the chi is stored in the hair, so our power really
yeah.
comes from the different types of hair in our body.
Yeah. No, oh yeah, I read about the hair being like the sixth sense
Hmm.
and a story about I guess I'm not sure if it was I think it was um mm, Native Americans who like were enrolled in the war or something and they had their hair chopped off and they couldn't find the people anymore and then when they did grow their hair long again they could find the bad guys. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've
well, the
ever.
hair basically has an enormous amount of the sixth element, intuition. So what
Yeah,
happened during the Vietnam War was that
yeah,
it's all documented by the government, so it's very factual. Is that they
yeah,
were recruiting American Indians to go to Vietnam, and then
yeah,
the American Indians would go there, and they would say the enemy is exactly 135 miles due southeast.
yeah,
But then they basically put them through boot camp and shaved their heads. And then
yeah,
all of the American Indian soldiers lost their entire intuition. All of it was no
yeah.
longer there.
I think people don't really take for granted or pay as much attention to their hair as they should. I think it's definitely. I've always. I have a Leo moon. Like my sign is Cancer, and I have a Leo moon, so I have the Leo tendencies to like really like a big mane.
Yes,
So it's something that's important to me for sure.
your hair is very Leo, very lion, very mane. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, nice and healthy.
Yes, yes. That's I was actually looking for a product that uh supported my hair and also my lifestyle. And when I discovered Morocco methods, that was when I was like, oh my gosh, this actually exists. And so that was really cool. And when in the beginning, my hair wasn't used to it, so it got kind of oily. But after I started using it for like a couple weeks, and it got used to like getting rid of all the other. And I was using just like natural hair shampoo before, but I mean, there was obviously still things in it that were like kind of confusing the oils in my hair because eventually my hair got less oily after
Well,
using the products. Like your products were they were adjusting to my scalp and then once that happened, then my hair just kind of flourished and got much better. And that's what I noticed in a lot of your reviews, like before and after, like the difference in people's hair after using your products, like it gets so much better.
yeah, we have a lot of education on our website about detoxing. And what
Yeah,
you're explaining is when you switch from any other shampoo over to ours or any other hair care product,
yeah,
that you will go through a detox process for 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, or
yeah,
some people go through it for weeks depending on how badly damaged the hair is. But what
yeah,
happens with using all natural products like ours are strictly wild crafted botanicals is it
yeah,
starts stripping off all the chemicals and residue and buildup, mostly a wax buildup on hair.
yeah,
So that's why
definitely.
your hair feels dry and matted in the ends, or your hair scalp can feel very oily because your
Yeah,
sebaceous glands are trying to get back into balance.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
That
the
makes
detox period is really something that everyone has to go through, but once you come out the other side, like you're saying, you'll see like the most natural, luxurious hair, and you go, oh my God, I didn't even know my hair was this beautiful.
Yeah. Exactly. That's kind of like a similar detox that I had when going raw. I mean, that was one thing, and then getting off the products and all the weird things. Like I barely use anything anymore, and for my hair, I just use your products, and that's pretty much it. Other than the oil that I use for when I go into the hot room or out in the sun, but super interested in trying that God and Goddess.
Yeah, so I see that you were asking about hair loss and hair thinning. Like, is that a
Yeah.
problem with people with vitamins and mineral deficiencies? And it's
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about because as long as you're eating live food,
Yeah.
you're not going to have any deficiencies because the body's going to be very nourished, very supported, and it's going to be naturally really very detoxed.
Yeah.
So the hair is pure protein.
Mhm.
And people don't
Mhm.
understand. They think they have to eat meat. They think they have to have eggs. They think they have to eat fish for protein. But vegetables and fruit are protein. And a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, really? They don't even understand that. So, of course, there's protein in everything. I mean, look at Dr. Ann Wigamore with the wheatgrass. She's
Yeah.
cured cancer from all over the world and cured hundreds of different diseases just from the wheat grass itself.
Yeah. The wheatgrass is incredible. I remember when I drank like 2 huge shots of wheatgrass, and that was probably around 11 a.m. and I didn't eat until 8 p.m. and I wasn't even hungry. I was so full of nutrients that my brain was like, you don't need anything because I'm satisfied. So it was really cool.
Well, that's superfood. Yeah, any
Yeah.
foods that are like that powerful. Of course, you don't feel hungry. You feel very satisfied because it's actually feeding every cell in the body.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also something I think quality over quantity, like eating things that are really nutrient dense. It's going to trigger in your brain that like you have the right minerals and nutrients. So you're not going to have to continue eating and eating and eating because your body already has what it needs, and that really that small package compared to like a huge amount of something that's really nutrient less and deficient in anything that's processed basically. So
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that because people are eating a lot of food because they're starving. They're
yeah,
starving for real nutritional,
yeah,
minerals and
yeah,
protein, and that's why
yeah,
they keep eating. But they don't realize that all of that is not healthy. It's like preserved foods, packaged food. It's not even food. Most of it's just made in the laboratory now. It's quite shocking.
yeah, exactly. It is pretty terrifying, but I mean, there are a lot of people waking up, so that's hopeful.
Well, you're helping them wake up, and that's why I'm really, honored to be on your webinar right now, and that we can.
Yeah,
The whole thing is to educate people of like how to be healthier, how to be live a happier life.
yeah, no, definitely. I've gotten many messages from people who said like, "You've changed my life. We're like so much healthier now," and it's super inspiring for me to continue doing it because I started it mainly as just a hobby, but now I'm realizing like like how impactful I am on other people's lives, which is kind of interesting.
Well, it's very
And
rewarding because we get the same thing all the time. That's why I've been in business 50 years. We get
yeah,
emails and phone calls and letters from people saying you changed our lives. And
yeah,
people that were raw, people that are vegan, people that are extremely healthy, were like bleaching their hair. They're using chemicals on their hair. They're using chemical
yeah,
hair care products, and they don't
yeah,
even realize that. Oh my God! Once they get the message, and they say, "Well, I didn't even realize that I'm, putting chemicals on my crown chakra here, and I'm raw."
yeah, I know. The hair dyeing is definitely. I used to dye my hair, and I wasn't raw when I stopped dyeing my hair, or maybe I was. Maybe that was when I went raw, but um, it's just crazy. Like one of my mom's best friends recently passed away from cancer, and she dyed her hair almost every 2 to 3 months. And it's like there's kind of a link here. Like you use so much hair dye, and there's so many chemicals in it. Like I can't imagine like putting that on your scalp and it absorbing in like right into your skin. That's insane.
Yeah, it's going right into the scalp. Is going into the sebaceous glands, the oil glands. But the shocking thing is going right into the brain cells.
Yeah,
Then
that's
it's going to go into the bloodstream and travel throughout the whole body. And where is it going to wind up? It's
totally.
not going to be able to be processed, like you said, if they're dyeing their hair every couple of months and they're
Yeah,
basically shampooing every day or using hair care products every day, like
yeah,
sprays or something. It's
yeah,
eventually going to go and settle into the glands.
yeah. No, that's and like yeah, the lymphatic system, and then
Yes.
then crazy things happen. Do you think that a raw vegan diet, because like some people say that a raw vegan diet has made their hair fall out or made their hair stop growing, but I don't really believe that. And like I've heard some rumors of that going around. Like I don't know if you've heard of that before, but I remember
Yes.
reading it somewhere.
Yeah, of course. I mean, people like that are raw for a long period of time or
Mhm.
vegan for a long period of time, like they have to listen to their body to the point if it starts craving something.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that means, if a person's craving, like say, oh, I'm really craving eggs, for example, or
Yeah,
like, yeah, or I'm really craving like fish.
yeah,
Like I have friends that are vegan for 20, 30, 40 years or raw for decades, but they
yeah,
start craving something, it means the body needs that particular element.
yeah. No,
We really
totally.
need to, and then you have a piece of fish and your energy levels soar and you feel great and you realize like, well, I don't need to eat fish every day, but if I'm
Yeah,
craving something, then I need to listen. And most
yeah,
people that don't listen, their body can start collapsing. And the same thing with a person eating meat every day or somebody eating,
yeah,
fish or something every day. After a while, the body starts collapsing because they can't digest it. So
yeah,
people don't understand that if you look at your hair, which is pure protein, it's a signal and a sign of what's going on holistically.
yeah.
But as our diet goes, a person needs to be listening to like their body more and not to their thoughts and
Hmm.
thinking like, oh, I'm thinking I'm going to go out and just eat lettuce, and that's all they think about when their body's screaming that it wants an egg.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
So after a
all
period of time, I mean, you don't have to race out and get an egg today, but after about 2 or 3 weeks of getting a message, I say to myself, well, I've been craving a lobster now for the last 3 weeks.
yeah,
And so it goes on for a couple of months. I go out and get a lobster like once a year when I crave it because it contains cobalt and it contains some very rare trace minerals. And I'm
yeah,
very satisfied for a couple of years, but if the craving continues to build, so
yeah,
it's really a good point that some people that don't listen to their bodies and just become very black and white about their diets, it
yeah,
doesn't matter if they're eating way too much meat or nothing at all. They really
yeah.
have to like say, what's my body talking about here? It's a message.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that a lot of people are in the raw food movement really dead set on being incredibly strict and
Yes.
only following a certain set of rules, which I think is not safe because no body is the same, right? Like
No.
everybody everybody has a different chemical makeup, so I
Well,
think
it's
it
very obvious. I mean, you look at people and we have different zodiac signs.
yeah.
Everyone looks different. Everyone acts different. We have
Yeah.
different talents. So the whole deal is we can fall into like this group or that group, but
Yeah.
being 100% anything is like you're saying, it's too strict. It's too reserved.
Yeah.
So of course you want to be healthy and you want to be raw, which is wonderful. But there's times when you have to listen to the body and it's saying, I need something hot right now. Like it's winter,
Yeah.
it's freezing, and
Yeah.
I basically want maybe some kind of something warm.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to. I mean, I feel totally satisfied doing raw in the winter climate, but like I do add in hot things like ginger or jalapeno and things that kind of heat up the body. But I don't really. I find that having been my circulation used to be really really bad, and I used to be really cold all the time. But I feel like after doing being raw for so long that my circulation and just everything kind of is balanced out, and I don't feel like I crave those hot foods. But a lot of my friends who are not raw, they're like, how do you eat raw without eating anything that's hot in the winter? But yeah.
Well, then it goes. It doesn't care what the other people say. What we're saying is that, am I craving something really hot? And if you're
Yeah.
eating jalapenos and cayenne peppers, and that's really very healthy for the heart, for the blood, for the
Yeah.
veins. I mean, it's really important to have some, like
Yeah.
when I was in Thailand, hot spicy was everywhere. And I'm
Yeah.
Italian, and we've been raised on hot peppers and garlic. And
Yeah.
mostly all the cultures do eat that type of heat. And it's
Yeah.
really healthy for the heart. But people have to be educated, not obsessively, but to the points of like what the basics are, and then what do we really crave, and then getting back to the hair situation, because
Yeah.
you can see how healthy your hair is since you became
Yeah.
raw. I'm sure it's a big difference.
Yeah. Definitely. Um, and there's also like the concept of the no shampoo method, the no poo method. Um, I've never tried it, but I don't know, like, what are your thoughts kind of on using no, like, nothing on your
Yeah,
hair?
I'm really glad you're bringing that up, because basically for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, that humans have been basically washing their hair with natural surfactants. So if you go
Oh,
to Asia, they've been using a green tea, and they've been washing their silk with that for the last several thousands of years.
yeah.
So then they also wash their hair with that. So there's a
Yeah.
buildup that's happening on our scalps with dust and debris and
Yeah.
different types of, nature with weather. And
Yeah.
there's like, so in South America, they're using cactus. They use
Yeah.
Nepal, and they wash their hair with that. And we
Oh,
get a
cool.
sangre de dragon, which is called blood of the dragon.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
people have been using that for conditioning their hair. But if you go any place all over the world from the tribal periods, you're
Yeah.
realizing that, well, like today, like I think you're mentioning that people are using baking soda,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that could be very drying by itself. And
Yeah.
people that make their own shampoos, I mean, that's very brave of them, and it takes a long time. But apple cider vinegar is a perfect pH balance.
Yeah.
So
I
rinsing
tend.
off with that. But using
Yeah.
any shampoo that is natural, like in the Morocco method, for example, people who have been no poo shampoo for a period of a long time, after a while start saying what you're saying, my hair is getting dry, it's basically not really looking healthy. But you
Yeah.
start using our shampoo, we have 5 elements. We have fire, air, earth, water, and ether. And your hair will start getting really healthy, and there's no sodium lauryl sulfate, and there's
Yeah.
no chemicals, and there's no pig and color segments into the hair products, and there's no preservatives. So
Yeah.
that's why people are wanting to not shampoo their hair for health reasons.
Yeah, totally. The um, yeah, the baking soda. I did use the baking soda before, and my hair was so incredibly dry. Like I would never do that again.
Yeah, so that's the whole deal about, doing an educational searching and finding out what other people are doing. But we have a Zen detox. It's a volcanic powder that we get from Italy and from France, from the volcanoes, and millions of years old, and it's decomposed minerals and from forests. And people dry shampoo with that. So we suggest getting our Zen detox,
Yeah.
massaging it all through the hair, leaving
Yeah.
it in, and then brushing it out. And that's a dry shampooing method.
Oh, cool. I didn't because I have your Zen detox, and I use it as a mask, like every week or every 2 weeks, and it's pretty amazing what it does to the hair. It's definitely something that I would recommend to anybody. Super fabulous. Your hair
Yes, you
feels.
can use it, like you're saying, you can use it as a mask when it's wet. So you take the Zen Detox and you add water to it, the
Yeah.
consistency of cream, and then you
Yeah.
let it sit for 24 hours or as long as you'd like, because it has to hydrate. Then you put
Yeah.
it all over your scalp and your hair. You can do your face. I do my whole body and sit out in the sun with it.
Oh,
Then it
wow. Yeah.
starts pulling out all the impurities. Then that's a wonderful detox process. And then
Uh,
your hair feels so conditioned after you use the Zen Detox. But I'm
yeah.
saying on the other side of the coin, you can do a dry Zen detox where you just take that, put it in your scalp, and just massage it all through the hair, and then
Yeah.
leave it in, or you can just brush it out. and that's
Yeah.
a dry shampoo.
Yeah, I had no idea that you could do that with that. So that's really good information. Good stuff to know.
Yeah,
Good
people
to,
really need to like look at ingredients more and realize if
yeah.
anything that foams is
Yeah.
going to be sodium lauryl sulfate, and so anything that foams and it's sulfuric acid, that's the base, and it's
Yeah.
very carcinogenic, it's very damaging, it's very drying, and a lot of people are saying, well, we have a natural shampoo. Well, what does
Yeah.
that mean? You have to investigate each ingredient. So they're
Yeah.
saying that we're using palm oil, or we're using coconut oil, or we're using olive oil. Well,
Yeah.
is that true? You have to ask them. Are you making your palm oil in the laboratory with sulfuric acid, or are you really getting it from the plant? Are you
Yeah.
using 100% natural plant-based palm
Yeah.
oil or olive oil? But no, they could be making it in a laboratory, and it's pure chemical, and it's made, again, there's 38 different names, but it's sulfuric acid, again, it's SLS.
Oh, yeah. That is good to know, actually, because I didn't know that there was 84 different names for it. That's really crazy. Wow.
Yeah, there's like 38 different names of SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. It's like, I don't have the list with me right now, but it's basically like sulfuric acid, sodium lauryl sulfate, this, and so sodium
Yeah.
lauryl sulfate that. There's many, because companies are now afraid of using those names because they know that people are savvy and educated about them.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like companies um, labeling MSG as something else instead of having MSG. There's like, I think, I don't know, 30 different names for MSG, like hydrolyzed whatever yeast and all these different things. Like natural flavors or spices, all hidden.
Yeah, it's really shocking. I'm glad you're bringing that up also, because they're saying it's natural flavors and it's natural this and natural that, which is not true at all, because it's
Yeah.
just a word that they're flinging around. They did the same thing with organic, and organic doesn't mean anything any longer, because all organic means is it's certified by the government. But
Yeah.
the crops are still coming in. The soil is all full of chemicals. Look at Monsanto, what they're doing with GMO. It's shocking.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty.
really horrible, and the United States has actually approved it, where Europe has said no, even China has said no. I don't know what Canada's stance on it. I'm sure they said no.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
GMO problem is very life-threatening. So we need to get educated in not only with our hair products, but with everything. And that's why I love Google and I like the platforms, because it's so transparent. Today,
Yeah.
if somebody says it's natural this, and the whole world will come on a platform and say, no, it's not, and they'll give you all the reasons why that's not a fact. So it's very powerful that we get educated today, and the platforms and the social media, which we use all the place, has 9 different platforms, and the transparency is the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, it's all about self education now, because I you can't depend on the government, like you can't. I don't care what anybody says, but it's I'm not
But
saying
we have to like not care what anybody says. We have to like be responsible for ourselves. I mean,
yeah.
it's not only the government. I mean, look at the medical world, what they're saying and what they're doing. I just read a report where 1/3 of all the deaths in the United States, 1/3 is coming from misuse from the hospitals and from medication.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's like, it's unbelievable. And we have
Yeah.
to be responsible for ourselves, which means we need to dig a little bit, and then we need to educate everyone around us, our family, our friends, our loved ones, our community, and
Yeah.
we can basically start with ourselves and be an example of how to be, about how to live.
Yeah, definitely. I find it really hard um to really tell people what to do. So instead, like you say, living as an example and people seeing that, like I find that me just having been around like the people that I know and being raw, like how much more inspired they are to follow almost the same path instead of me lecturing them, which is not really something that I do. Like I don't really like to do that, but yeah, being an example and just
Well, you have
living.
a following, and people really trust and believe in you, obviously. So you don't have to lecture anyone. I mean, they're coming to you because they trust you, and they're asking for advice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Of
So that,
course. The same thing with Morocco Method. I mean, people come to us, and we're about 95% educational, and we don't really sell anything. We
yeah,
educate people, and they make up their own decision, like your followers that come to you from your platforms, and they have
yeah,
obviously make up their own decisions. But you have an enormous following, which just proves that you're doing the right thing, which means that you're educating people, you're a living example, and you're very healthy in your lifestyle and your thinking and your whole
yeah,
modality of everything that you're creating, and people admire that.
yeah, definitely. It's um, it's really interesting because I've always wanted to kind of help people in some way. Like I enjoy the concept of helping people, but this is kind of me getting to work on a passion while inadvertently helping people. So it's kind of like a win-win.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
That's the transparency level of of how we're living today, and that's why I'm so thrilled about platforms and all the
Yeah.
social media that's going around and the transparency.
Yeah.
So when we
Yeah.
get down to like educating people on all these different levels, like from food to thinking to exercise to even our own attitude, our attitude is enormous.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What was I gonna ask? Oh yeah. I was gonna ask, so you said that you started Morocco Methods 50, it's been around for 50 years?
Yeah, so 1964-65 was when I was in New York City at Kenneth's, which is the
Yeah.
world's leading salon, and I was working on the super rich and the super famous, not the rich and famous, but we're talking about the leaders of the world, and they were
Yeah.
coming in and being pampered. And like we would make a shampoo when you came in, we'd make a shampoo just for you. We did it for Jackie Kennedy and Lauren Bacall, and the laundry list is amazing, Mrs. Vincent Astor. But then I started realizing that we were still doing chemical hair colors. I
Yeah.
started realizing that as natural as we were and as gentle as we were still doing carcinogenic procedures. So that
Hmm.
led me to do an enormous in-depth research in looking at shampoos and conditioners of the chemicals that were in them, and even like they can go from mild to like strong to super strong to practically deadly. So I
Yeah.
decided back in the 60s that I was going to create a line that was 100% wild crafted, strictly botanical.
Yeah.
And so that took me to Europe for 2.5 years, and I studied with botanists, and I studied the lunar cycle. Then coming back to America and continuing my research, and I still do that. I still research, of course. I mean, we never stop learning anything. But
Yeah.
I came up with the 5 elements for hair, which is the same as 5 fingers, 5
Yeah.
toes, five
Yeah.
senses, five,
Yeah.
fire, air, earth, water, and ether.
Hmm.
So
That
that
is,
we have 5 shampoos, and some companies have 100, 200 different shampoos, which I find really massively confusing. But they keep
yeah.
creating like another shampoo every other day because
Yeah.
it's just they can do that, but you make people very confused. So we have 5 shampoos. It's
Yeah.
fire, air, earth, water, ether, and that's the same as the body. It's the same as the whole universe. And my suggestion is to rotate those 5 shampoos. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you shampoo once a day, twice a day, once a week, twice a week. It's individual, like you're saying about food. It depends
Yeah.
on what your body really is asking. Like, is it wintertime? I'm shampooing far less. Is it
Yeah.
summertime? It's really hot. I'm shampooing a lot more. The same
Yeah.
thing. So you alternate, but each time you do it, you take, like I put all my shampoos in a row. I pick from the left, so I pick up C shampoo, then I put
Mhm.
it back on the right. So the next time I come in the shower and I'm going to pick up a shampoo, I'm going to pick up Herb shampoo because that's the next one. I shampoo
Yeah.
with it, I put it back on the right. So I'm
Yeah.
rotating all the time without even thinking about it. But then
Yeah.
I say, oh, maybe I don't like the earth right now, and I'm really not crazy about the pine shale, but I really like, the sea and the other the heavenly shampoo. So, but
Yeah.
after a while, you'll start seeing that the hair doesn't look so great, so you'll add in the pine shale, and you go, oh, now I really like the pine shale. So that's what's happening with eating. You know, you just can't eat broccoli or rice and nothing else because the body will start telling us like that's not really making me happy or healthy looking. So
Yeah.
by rotating the different shampoos, and we have 5 conditioners and alternating, so that's where your hair gets nurtured and
Yeah.
nourished. So we're actually feeding the hair for thousands of years. Again, the tribal people all over the world, like in, let's say you were going to Costa Rica, but you'll find out down there that they basically use probably bananas or avocados or coconut oil, but they've
Yeah.
been doing that for thousands of years. Like I'm from the Mediterranean, I'm Italian, so
Yeah.
we've been using olive oil. Then you
Yeah.
go to Hawaii and you find that they're using like coconut oil, and you go to South America, they could be using something else. But they would the women and the men would take the bananas and smash them in the hair, massage it in the hair, and leave it in for a couple of days or a week. The same thing
Wow.
with coconut oil. So our
Yeah.
hair needs to be moisturized. It just doesn't do that on its own, especially now. The sebaceous glands are not usually in balance. That's why I'm suggesting brushing. That's been going on for centuries. And we have
Yeah.
a whole educational videos on how to brush your hair, what kind of brush to get. We have 100% rubber scalp massager, and that
Yeah.
gives a lot more blood and air circulation to the scalp, so it
Yeah.
allows the growth patterns of the sebaceous glands to grow healthier, thicker hair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I was also kind of wondering about was like the brushing and the massaging of the scalp because I've never really paid much attention to that until as of recent, like just being gentle with my hair and not like being really rough with my hairbrush and like ripping through my hair. Yeah,
Yeah, we want to be aware of what kind of brush we're using because a lot of people say I brush my hair every day, and I say, well, what are you using? They're using a rubber, they're using a plastic, they're using like very low-grade boar bristle. It's just not right. You have to
yeah,
get a very high-grade boar bristle, and the boars that we're basically getting, we actually have them. It's shaved, so the boars are not harmed by any means. We get
yeah,
the highest grade boar bristle imaginable, and it's all put into a wooden brush, and
yeah,
basically then from there you brush your hair like we do in our video, and the
yeah,
oil glands from the back are really thick back here. We have a lot of, if you press and squeeze, you'll
yeah,
feel how thick the hair is, and there's a lot of oil glands back there. But in the
yeah,
top hairline, it's very thin,
yeah,
so we hardly have any oil glands there. So we do the same technique as I've learned to do with swans and ducks and birds, where they
yeah,
actually preen the oil out of they have like a little duck oil
yeah,
pot in the tail, and then
yeah,
they go with the beak and peck the oil out of there and then take each feather and preen it. That's how we learned thousands of years ago how to brush our hair. So now we bend over, take out the excess oil from the back,
yeah,
bring it up to all the way through the length of the hair to the tip of the hair, and then the brush gets full of your natural oils also. Then you
yeah,
stand up and you start brushing from the hairline back, and you're putting all that oil back into the hairline, which doesn't have very much. So you're brushing back and forth, like 3 times, bend over, stand up, and then your hair gets very lubricated and very moisturized from your own elixir, which is your own oils.
yeah. That's super cool. That
And
is
the
really
same thing with the scalp massager. Like the hands are not strong enough. You know,
yeah,
if you go to a massage therapist, when I was in Thailand, we got massaged every day because that's their
yeah,
way of life. And it's
yeah,
very healthy, very healthy. But this
yeah,
rubber scalp massager is something that really, when you massage, I even use it on my whole body. It gets the blood in the air to actually stimulate and give you a lot more air circulation and a lot more blood circulation. And so
yeah.
again, the scalp is getting more blood and air and a lot healthier to grow healthier hair.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the scalp massager is something that would be cool to experiment with because when you do just use your hands can definitely tire out. But yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea about the oil glands in the back of your hair and doing the whole brushing pattern. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
why we made videos about that. We have a lot of educational literature to make
Yeah,
people aware that our oil glands, our sebaceous glands, are really condensed in the nape. That's why a lot of males are male pattern bald. They're losing the top of their hair, but
yeah,
you're sides, like maybe 2 inches from the ears and down,
Yeah.
their hair is still thick, but 2 inches above the hair, above the ears, and the whole top is gone. Well, that's because of the sebaceous glands are very thin in the scalp here. So that's why
Yeah.
we brush the hair, and we have the only rubber scalp massager in the world that I know of. Everybody
Yeah.
else is using latex or plastic. Again, the body doesn't want to be irritated. We have
Yeah.
to use natural products when we work on our bodies,
Yeah.
skin, on our skin and our face and in our hair, because the body resents and it gets irritated, and after a period of time it just becomes resentful and it turns off. Well, if you're pampering your body and using natural hair care products, natural skin care products, really good dental, hygiene products, and you're, using the highest quality, well, that highest quality is going to last you forever, and the results are going to be our health is our wealth. What's more important than our health?
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that you have really beautiful hair, and
Oh, thank you.
you're not balding or anything. It's very thick and luscious. So, yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm 71 years of age, and I do the Morocco method. You can see my hair is very thick.
Yeah, that's really great. That's
And I
super
do the
awesome.
lunar cycle hair cutting, every season, sometimes more. But
Yeah,
the last 50 years, I've really scalp massaged. I've always used a natural brush. Then, of course, over the decades, created my own hairline for shampoos and conditioners. But
yeah,
cutting the hair with the lunar cycle is critical. So there's all these different, what I call spokes in a wheel.
hmm, yeah,
And they get
yeah,
stronger and healthier, and like you're saying, you're thinking better, you're more capable of handling situations because of your diet, and you're so healthy. Your energy levels are higher, you're seeing a big difference, and then that's an example for everybody else to say, well, let me take a look at what I'm doing.
yeah. No, definitely. That's really, really interesting. I'm glad that I came across your products and that I've finally discovered something that works with my lifestyle and something that makes my hair work as well. Because sometimes you can find something that works for your lifestyle, but it doesn't really actually work. But this is kind of like it. It both works. So like it works and it works for my lifestyle. It works for my hair and it works for my lifestyle. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's holistic. The whole thing is it needs to be holistic, like you're saying. So it works for your hair, and you're seeing that it's really working for your lifestyle, which is like making you healthier and happier. We want to be happy, and we want to look great, and we want to feel great. Like my energy levels, because I do Qigong, I've been doing it for 35 years, and I teach Qigong. So my
Yeah.
energy levels on a 1 to 10 range from 8.5 to a 10.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So once you
incredible.
start feeling really healthy, you don't want to give it up. Once you start getting high energy levels and you're really healthy looking and acting and feeling, then when you start feeling a little down, you say, what am I doing that's interfering with my energy levels? And right
Yeah.
away we come back. So like what we call ourselves chi junkies, we're energy junkies. We want our health to be as high as possible. We want to
Yeah.
think and act and feel great. And we want to
Yeah.
share that with as many people around us that we can.
Yeah, definitely. I think that people when people ask me, they're like, don't you just want that slice of pizza or whatever? And I'm like, no, like I really cherish this energy high vibe that I'm constantly on, and like anything for that matter. Like I don't drink alcohol anymore, just like any kind of stimulant. Like I do not require stimulants because I'm already so like naturally high on this lifestyle that like I yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's
It's
great.
very incredible. Like I no longer drink coffee. I no longer do alcohol. I don't do
Yeah,
those things myself because once you get on a high, it's a natural high. You realize this is really the way I'm supposed to be living. This is natural. This is nature. And I don't need to drink coffee to give me a buzz. I don't need to have that pizza to give me a buzz. I don't need to have,
yeah,
alcohol to give me a buzz because I'm already very high on life, that's why it's so exciting to maintain that level. And I'm not attracted to eat other things. It's like, no, I don't want that cookie. I don't want that dessert. It's like my body doesn't really need that or want it because I can see a crash level happening here.
yeah, absolutely.
You get everything wrapped up. So Carly, it's really been a
Yeah,
great experience meeting you and finally having a chance to dialogue. And
Yeah,
congratulations on doing your great work and connecting with so many other people and
yeah,
being a living example for us.
yeah, definitely. I'm super grateful that I have you guys as a part of me with my company and what I'm doing. So it's really exciting, and I hope to be doing continuous work with you guys in the future because I think you're a great company, and what you stand for is all what I stand for. So yeah, it's super great.
Yep, united we stand for sure, and really congratulations on everything that you're working with, and we will definitely, get you more Morocco method updates and work with you and have your whole following a lot more educated about, even if you don't know about Morocco method, it's just like how do you really take care of your hair, scalp, and your health.
Yeah, definitely.
All
That's
right, well, we will talk soon. Be wealthy, be healthy.
yeah, you as well. Thank you so much, Anthony.
All right, Carly. Be well.
Bye.
Take care.